Hello class. So we would move on to the final unit, which is maintenance and waste management. So technically we have 6 units, but in the syllabus wise they have made it as 5 units. All right, but it's apparently 6 as per your textbook and all that, but we would be having just 5 units in which all the topics discussed till date we have gone as per the syllabus, like A to Z. I don't think I have left anything from the syllabus aspect. I'll share you the syllabus page. You can go through each of the topic whether it is covered or not. Okay, this is just for your reference. So we'll move on to maintenance. So our previous chapter was talking about time motion study, all those which the study which is taken to understand what is the efficiency of, say, your men, equipment, or material in terms of the time taken, in terms of the method used, in terms of about the different motion which is used, in terms of the entire work study. So here we are going to talk about a situation where during the production, if something wrong happens with either the machine, equipment, or the material, how do how to rectify it and take corrective action. This is what your maintenance management is all about. Waste management, we'll move on to it on in the next class, but this is about maintenance management. So maintenance is very crucial. See, I buy a machine for my production that costs me quite some amount of money. Okay, it is expensive compared to the usual materials which I buy or any other facilities which I keep, lighting or whatever. The buying of machinery, if it is very huge, it is sometimes too expensive. Otherwise also most of them fall under the expensive category. We have to think twice before purchasing that machinery. We cannot purchase a lot of machinery. We have to scrutinize which machine to choose from and all that. So every machine has got an estimated life. Like I buy this machine, okay, the person who sells me the machine tells me, okay, the useful life for this machine is 20 years. All right, useful life is 20 years, which means it has got a lifespan of 20 years. I can use it for a period up to 20 years. All right, now this 20 years, even though it is there, it does not mean that all through this 20 years that machine is going to look like in a very new manner, as in it's not going to look like how you know sorry, it's not going to look in the way like how it was brand new. There would be occasional wear and tear. An expense which you use to record this wear and tear, the fall in the value, we call it as depreciation. One term which you come across in almost all types of accounts, right? So this machinery, plant and machinery, is what undergoes this wear and tear during the useful life of the machine. So during 20 years there would be some wear and tear. So if we leave wear and tear just like it, like we are like, okay, let's wait for 20 years, let everything fall apart, it is fine. No, someday if your production if your machine starts working, there's a breakdown of the machine, then your production would be affected. So when there's wear and tear, or maybe the rust is formed because of the moisture, because of the humid air, or if there's any other damage to the machine or to any factory premises, it is very important that you have to rectify it. Otherwise, technical failure or a breakdown, any it would don't it won't come ringing on the doorbell, right? It would come automatically, unexpectedly. So you would have to be prepared. So maintenance is all. Okay, before that, these are the topics which we would discuss. The basic concepts of maintenance management. What are the different types of maintenance? There are 5 important types. What is breakdown? What is spares, planning and control? Just a general idea. Then we would learn about 3 concepts: maintenance scheduling, equipment reliability, and modern scientific methods. Waste management is almost like your EVS class, so it should be a much on a easier side. All right. Okay. So maintenance management. So maintenance is where, okay, suppose I purchase an equipment. I make an equipment to maybe a mixer or something. Just the mixing machine, not the mixer, the mixing machine, which I purchase and which has a life of say 20 years. When I take some steps to ensure that that machine is in a proper condition all throughout. I give it, good housekeeping, or I take care of it. Take care of it, we call it as maintenance. Or else, if suppose this mixing machine fails, like tomorrow morning, if it fails, I take steps to rectify and bring it back to its original thing. We can also call it as maintenance. So maintenance is where you keep a equipment as per the specified okay condition. You take care of it. In a way that you are acting as though precaution is better than cure. You start taking care of it, so there's no problem with it. But the other one is your corrective measure, which says that if suppose there's a problem with it, you go and rectify it. So all these two things fall under the purview of maintenance management. So that is your general maintenance. Maintenance management is where you apply the principles of planning, controlling, and all that in the maintenance task. So the function of manufacturing management that is concerned with the day-to-day problem of keeping the physical plant in good operating condition. So all the steps which is taken to keep that equipment, that mixing machine, for example, the mixing machine, in a very proper condition, which can be really used well in an effective and efficient manner, we call that as maintenance management. The key reason as to why it's done is given in the next paragraph, even though it is a part of that entire definition. Here, what we mean to say is, be it your raw material, be it your men, your machines, whatever be the thing, should be available in a given time in the factory so that you can do production. Why is it that it should be in a working condition? Is because there are people who gave you the money so that you can go and purchase the machine. There are people from the owner who must have put in some money, he must have got some loans, whatever, to make the to get the machine. So whoever puts in money, invests money, expects some returns. When do returns happen? From that machine. When you use the machine, you get a very good output, your profits increase, you are able to pay off your investor, or the person who has put in the money can get some returns. So keeping these facts in mind, we need to have maintenance management. Is it clear to you? All right. Now there are certain costs. So everything is about maintaining the cost. There are certain costs of maintenance management which has to be given a lot of importance. Okay, so we have tangible costs, those costs which are like evidently seen, and intangible costs which are normally a bit of long-term costs. You might not see it right now, but later you might feel it in one way or the other. Okay, so let's go down with each one of them. As per the syllabus and as per your general understanding, we just need to know the meaning of it. So there are numerous concepts in this subject. This subject is more or less an engineering subject. We just need to know about the terminology, the general process. So if you want again further help in it, I'll have to research a bit and then let you know. If you have any question, you're open to ask. All right. Okay. The first one is downtime cost. Okay. Downtime cost is a cost which you calculate to understand what is the cost arising when a machine has broken down or is suffering a breakdown. Sorry, I'm stammering. So when a machine is having a breakdown issue, what do? You try to understand, okay, what are the costs which are arising? What is the overall cost which is arising from this breakdown? How is it calculated? You multiply the man hours. Okay, not the man hours. You calculate the machine hours into the breakdown of the equipment. All right, so you calculate the total machine hours into the breakdown time period of that particular machine. You get your downtime cost. So downtime cost is where you understand, okay, what are the costs and expenses which is coming out because there's a breakdown in the machine. Okay, idle wages. When machines are having a breakdown issue, the laborers who are supposed, or the human resource who is supposed to work on those machine is not working, they can sit idle. They can simply come to the see if that breakdown is going to continue for a few days, they'll simply come to the factory, sit there, do nothing, go back again, but still they get the salary. Okay, we are not productively using the people because the machine has gone really bad, but we still have to pay them wages. So think about from a point of view of the business. I have to pay wages for nothing because they are not even working. They get their wages even if they're doing idle time. So idle wages are those wages which is given to the laborers who sit idle doing nothing or doing very less work when the machines are suffering from a breakdown. Loss of materials. Now when I suppose first machine I'm feeding in the materials, all of a sudden there's a breakdown. These are just situations, okay? All of a sudden there's a breakdown. All right, materials get stuck there. It is all automatic, so it is very difficult to extract the materials, so everything gets stopped. I know that okay, some of the materials are inside near the machine or something, or it is stuck there. What to do? I'll have to spend some money in extracting those. Now if it is food items, those materials which are very gooey in nature, which sticks onto the surface, I would have to spend some money in extracting it. Okay, cost of repairs. Suppose your machine requires a lot of repairs to be done. Repairs do come a bit costly, especially if you have some equipment which can be done only by one group, which can be repaired only by a specialized set of people. Their charges might be very high. All right. Opportunity cost. Opportunity cost is the cost which is suffered by the organization because they are foregoing the opportunity. As in, today I was supposed to do production of 50 units, because because I cannot, sorry, so because I cannot do the production because of the breakdown, I'm not able to make the 50 units. So maybe I can make like after I made 10 units itself, the machine stopped. I cannot make the remaining 40. This is this is what is my opportunity cost. If I didn't have a breakdown, I could make all 50 units. I would have been able to sell it by the end of the day. But since I didn't take care of my machine and it has broken down completely, I could manage to make only 10. 40 units is kind of foregone because I cannot make a profit out of it. I'll be able to sell only 10 units. So the cost of losing an opportunity, okay, is called as opportunity cost, which is suffered by the organization. Impact on other machines. For example, there are 3 stages of production. First stage, machine should do the production. Only then the second machine can work on that in progress inventory, or that moving on inventory, work in progress. So what happens is my first machine has a technical problem. It closes down. Problem here is only if the first machine has processed, only that thing can be processed by the second. Only then the second machine can process on this. First is not working, how will second and third work? So the other two also have to be shut down. Again, cost increase. So those are the impact on other machines. Expediting cost or not anticipated cost. Okay, not anticipated cost comes in a way when suppose there is a breakdown. Yes, everything is related to the breakdown. There's a breakdown of the machinery. There is a huge delay in the production. Like we were supposed to make 50 units, but we could make only 10 units. There's a delay in the production. All right. Maybe we'll have to ask people to work on numerous shifts. Like today, if the machine is going bad, tomorrow maybe the people have to work on a double shift to meet today's needs tomorrow. Yeah, so they have to work extra time. You might have to increase the time. You have to even pay them overtime charges, all that. So this would add on to the cost again. All right, you don't expect this cost, but it might just happen. Accident cost which results because of some injury, either directly or indirectly, to a person. For instance, suppose there is one machine, the top part is kind of shaking for some quite some time. I have ignored it. I'm the inspection person. I have ignored it, and one day it falls on someone and he's hurt. So I'll have to pay for his hospital charges. Yes, if the injury is very grievous, then I have to decide about the insurance cost. Everything has to be covered. So that would add on to the cost. Okay, here we are specifically talking about human resource. Added setup cost. If suppose previous example, machine 1, 2, 3, machine 1 has got a technical problem. I'll have to remove it, I'll have to repair it, and I'll have to set it up again. That is one type of setup cost. Now, in that example, I said if first machine does not work, second machine and third machine cannot work, right? So when first machine is removed, it has to be set up again. The second machine or third machine, for example, if it is switched off for a longer time, then I'll have to initiate the thing. I'll have to make it work again. So that would add on to my setup cost. So not only one machine is impacted, the other machines which follow would also be impacted. Tool breakage. If there are any tools which is attached to the, what do I say, to the machine. So either when you remove it in order to do the repairing work, or suppose there is like too much of vibration other than breakdown, there's too much of vibration from the machine, the tools which is attached might fall. That falling cost a damage, and that adds on to your cost. Premium paid on spare parts. So suppose you have a breakdown, you need additional spare parts like your tools, you need additional spare tools, but you might not be having with it. So when you go out, like you ask people like on short notice, you go to the market and ask for industrial market and ask for spare parts. People know that okay, there is some problem with this machine, he needs a spare part somehow. It is okay, because he needs it, I'll charge it at a very higher price. Because he needs it, he will have to pay for it. So the seller over there can charge a very high premium for its spare parts, okay, because they know how urgent it is. Then reduce life of equipment. When one equipment, say it has got a period of 20 years, okay, estimated life, breakdowns happen every 3 months. This would reduce the lifespan of equipment, maybe by 5 years or something. Out of those 20 years, due to continuous breakdowns, after 5 or 10 years you might have to throw away the machine. So in this way you might not have utilized the machine for the entire 20 years. You might have to dispose it off because of this continuous breakdown. Then failure to meet delivery schedule, which means to say that, see, customers, I'm supposed to sell 50 units, I've made only 10 units. Maybe the first time I do it, customers will understand, okay, there was a machine failure, let it go, it's fine. But again and again, when this breakdown happens and the production quantity or quality, everything is downgraded, customers will not be happy. They'll move on to other things. This happens when you are, say, supplying a component to any other industry, when they need so much of industry, and when they are in very close contact with you, when they feel the first time production didn't happen as per the thing, they'll be like, let it go. But the next time you keep on repeating this issue, then they would slowly leave from your customer base. Lowered employee morale. There are employees who enjoy doing work, all right, when they feel that the machines are not proper maintenance is not taken, and with respect to accident, we are subject to human hazards, health hazards and all that, they have this negative vibe while working in the organization, though, so they might try to leave out. So you lose your employees because you are not taking care of maintenance properly. Then increased investment in spare parts. So see, we told about the premium, huge premium which can be charged by the seller. So which means to say that you will have to stock up. If your machine is one which has a lot of frequent breakdown, then you will have to stock up a huge amount of spare parts as your inventory. Cost of standby equipment. So spare parts you might have to consider many. Then again the same situation where your machine has a lot of breakdowns, even then you might have to keep a machine, another similar machine for backup. So you will have to take care about storing the backup somewhere. Yeah, you are using one machine which is subject to a lot of breakdown. You think of having a backup plan by buying a similar machine and keeping it with you, but you also have to pay for the storage cost of keeping that extra machine. Okay, so these are the intangible costs which you can't see immediately, but you will feel it later. All right. Okay. Objectives of maintenance management. Customer satisfaction. Customer is the king, which is a rule which is seen in almost all the industry, be it manufacturing industry or service industry. So here what it means to say is customers always look for two main things. Okay, they look for quantity and quality. Okay, when would you compromise on these two? When your machine has a breakdown and there's a production delay or production does not happen. So in that way, the proper quantity won't be maintained. And the quality can also be misjudged. In that way, your customers will no longer be happy. So that is why you need proper maintenance management so that your production happens on a very smooth flow. Second, maximize the useful life of the equipment. Even if the useful life of the equipment is like 20 years, still if you do extra maintenance, if you take care of it like really well, you grease it well, you apply a lot of lubricant and all that, then maybe you can use that machine for a longer period of time. Okay, this saves you on the money what you invested, and the time period lifespan which you got for that machine might be like 20 years. If you can take good care of it and it can be extended to 25, it adds on to your returns. Okay, prevent safety hazards. Safety hazards are an issue. Hazards can be made directly, that is any person who's in contact with the machine, suddenly something happens, he might get hurt, or someone who's standing a bit far, okay, might get hurt. All right, maybe a blast or many things happen. It has happened all throughout the world. So that would cause a huge it would be a huge worry. So if maintenance management is proper, safety hazard can be assured. And with respect to prevent safety hazards, I just referred, you can also try to keep your equipment a bit safe. All right, you can take care of it in a way that nothing heavy falls on the machine, or even if something happens to it, you can take measures to safeguard it from any other further trouble. All right, all this is done so that your equipment, okay, does not get damaged. You are taking enough preventive care for it to not get damaged. You are taking care to protect your employees from any safety hazard. All this should be done if you have will be done if you have a proper maintenance management. Minimize the total production or operation cost. All right, so here what we mean to say is there are two ways of controlling the cost. The first one is you can increase your capacity. All right, suppose to make 50 units, my fixed cost or my machine cost is 1 lakh. 1 lakh worth of machines, or 1 lakh worth of some fixed cost is needed to make 50 units. All right, so 1 lakh by 50 would give you how much? It would give you close to 20,000. I'm not sure. Yeah, somewhere closer. 2,000 or 20,000. Okay, so 1 lakh divided by 50. I'll just calculate. Hold on. Yeah, sorry, 20,000. So if you make your fixed cost is stationary 1 lakh, but if you make 50 units, all right, 1 lakh by 50 would give you how much? It would give you 20,000 per unit, which means to say that total cost of total cost, which is 1 lakh, divided by the total number of units which you produce is 50. You divide it, you get an amount of 20,000, which means to say for each unit you have 20,000 worth of cost. All right, now you increase these 50 units, you increase the capacity to 100 units. All right, so 1 lakh divided by 100 would give you around rupees 1,000. So from 20,000 per unit cost, it has reduced to 1,000 per unit cost because you increase the number of units from 50 to 100. Your fixed cost is the same, you are not changing it, but the number of units is increased. So what does it mean to say? You increase your capacity or you increase your production level, then your fixed cost per unit will come down. From 20,000 it has come down to 1,000. So that would come down. All right, yeah, but it is not very easy for everyone to every organization to increase the capacity. Maybe their entire factory has a capacity of producing only 50 units. Any number more than 50 is impossible with a given circumstance or given facilities. At that time, what can they do? They should try to find out in what way can we reduce the cost. And one way of reducing the cost is work on your maintenance. See that you are not paying off a lot of money, or it's not a breakdown or something, some technical failure is not going to add your cost. So try to control your cost in one way wherein you can avoid all this breakdown cost by having proper maintenance management. Then minimize the frequency and severity of interruptions to operating process. Suppose you have a technical breakdown, or you are likable to or probable to have a technical breakdown. There are two things which you can do. One, either go for preventive maintenance or go for corrective maintenance. Preventive maintenance happen when you understand, okay, there might be technical issues in the future. I will take some maintenance steps to see that such future situations do not happen. That is one way of analyzing. Second way is, okay, an issue happened, there's a technical failure, I'll take some steps to correct the issue. So one, you believe that it is better to do prevention, precaution or prevention is better than cure. You take steps in advance in order to counter a future technical issue. And second one is where after the issue happens, you put in measures to rectify it. This is the difference between preventive and corrective. Example would be in a factory. Okay, maybe after every 3 months you are going to change the bulb. Okay, you maintenance management does not involve only machines, we have all other facilities as well. You decide to change all the bulbs after 2 to 3 months. Okay, it's not like the bulbs are not working, but just to see that everything is in a proper place, you do it every now and then, after every 3 months, after every regular interval. This is your preventive maintenance. Okay, now instead of this, if I'm going to wait for that bulb to burn out and cease or stop working, it's invalid now, or I mean completely void, you can't use it any longer. I wait till that time when it cannot be no longer used, only then when I go and change it. It's called as corrective maintenance. So be it any form of maintenance, you would have to understand what is the frequency of interruptions. Okay, you have to understand whether it is okay to change the bulb after every 2 3 months, or is it fine if maybe that bulb, some bulbs might run till 5 to 6 months, let's change only after that. So based on your interruption or based on your issues, you have to adopt the correct form of maintenance. Okay, then maximize production or operation capacity from given equipment resources. Like I mentioned, if suppose today the machine isn't working, it gets rectified tomorrow morning. All right. Today's work didn't happen, right? So I'll have to carry forward that work to the next day, which means I have to ask people to work overtime, finish the entire thing, and see that work happens in a double time. All right. So this can be done. This is one aspect. Second, and I can pay them overtime charges. It adds on to my cost, but still work is getting done properly. Suppose I'm facing an increased demand tomorrow. Okay, if my machines are properly maintained, okay, given a situation, okay, let's frame it otherwise. I make 50 units. This is my normal capacity. Okay, my machines can make it around 100 units, but normal thing is 50 units. Tomorrow they are saying that there's a demand in the market for 100 units. Okay, which means I cannot produce 50 tomorrow. I'll have to do 50 plus another 50, 100% thing. So if I find out that okay, my machine, I have maintained it very well all these years, so this is capable of making 100 units, then I am able to meet that demand. So in that I can give them extra time to do more of work schedule to do. I can increase the facilities. All that can be done only if my maintenance management was proper. In a scenario wherein this machine was not properly maintained, suddenly I have to increase my capacity. Maybe because of that sudden pressure, the machine might not work. You get the clear understanding? I hope you really do. All right. Importance of maintenance management. First is maintain the operating efficiency. Here what it means to say is, see, my usual capacity to, I keep on repeating this example so that you don't lose a track of it. I hope you are not losing a track out of it. So the thing is, suppose I'm supposed to make, I'm supposed to make 50 units today. That is my actual capacity. My capacity of my factory is 50 units using that particular machine. Okay, I don't take care of this machine. Okay, I let it go as how it is. I don't properly maintain it and all that. Okay, one day there's a huge breakdown. There's a technical issue. The machine fails. Even though 50 units is my target, daily target, I am not able to meet it. Okay, when I'm not able to meet it, this affects my efficiency. I'm not efficient enough to make 50 units. It is very much below the average. All right, but if I had properly maintained the machinery, maybe I could have got a capacity of 50 units or even above 50 units. Is it clear to you? So maintaining operating efficiency is a byproduct of maintenance management. You do maintenance management, you can maintain your operational efficiency. Second one is prevention of loss of production. Any breakdown in your machinery would make your work stop. It won't let it continue. Especially if you have 2 or 3 machines in one area. If one of them stops, you are not able to complete the entire production. I suppose in my process line, I have 5 different machines which is used. Second machine fails. All right. So there is no point in doing first stage because it cannot be first machine because it cannot be carried to second machine which is out of order. So, and if it does not pass the second machine, it cannot go to the third, it cannot go to the fourth or the fifth. All right. So when this thing happens, we can understand that because of 1 or 2 machine failure, the entire process line has to be scrapped off. You cannot use any of those. Your production is stopped. All right. This would result in production delay or maybe sometimes no production at all. If that machine cannot be repaired even like throughout the entire day, we could not repair it, then it's going to carry on to the next day, which means you can't do production even on the next day. So this adds on to your cost. Maintain the productivity level. Productivity is important, be it in terms of men, material or machines. Okay, you cannot afford to go wrong in any of them. Is it clear to you? So if you don't maintain your machines well, your machines won't function perfectly. They would have breakdown, they would have technical problem and all that. So the productivity level of the machines is affected. Yes or no? Yeah. So when you don't meet the productivity level, or suppose you say you have a technical breakdown, production is halted for some time, you have to reschedule the process. You have to call in people to repair the machine. You have to do those additional functions so that your productivity can be kept at a constant rate. But that is a very time consuming thing. That is going to be an expensive method also. What can you do? You can maintain your machine so that your productivity level, be it in terms of the men, like the idle people who are not working when a machine has gone down, or the materials which are stuck in between, or even the machines, for instance. If you see to it that you maintain your machines and everything well, the productivity level is increased. You can maintain it. Then help solving the problem of breakdown. Like I mentioned, breakdowns actually affect the lifespan of a machine. So rather than having the chance of having a lot of breakdown, see to it you maintain your machines in a very good manner. High employee morale. So if everything is working smooth, the employees get a positive vibe of doing their work in a good efficient manner. They find okay, there is good efficiency in terms of plant maintenance in all other levels, then employees feel motivated to work in that place. So which human resource is always an asset to the organization. That minute you keep them happy, half of the problem is solved. So this is where maintenance management has a very huge role. If it's confusing from the previous one, please do reach out. Yeah. Scope of maintenance management, you just need to know what comes under primary functions, what come under secondary functions. That's it. Okay, this is just for your understanding. So when you maintain the existing plant, primary functions include maintain the existing plant and equipment or the existing plant building or any other premises. You do good equipment inspection, you lubricate, that is those things which have to move mechanically are treated with certain lubricant oils or grease, which would help in reducing the friction. You might have learned in school also. In order to ensure that the wheels move in a proper manner, we have to lubricate it very often. Utilities, generation and distribution, any other utilities which is available to the material, to the machines, to the people, all those have to be greatly maintained. Then alterations to existing equipment and building. If you need to make certain modifications, that can also fall under the purview of maintenance management. You can install your equipment and building, the new installation. The secondary functions are after primary we have got the secondary functions. We have storekeeping, all right, that can come under the maintenance purview. Plant protection, wherein we have fire extinguishers and other sort of equipment which is placed by the maintenance department. They know the exit points and everything. They teach or they give the employees training on that. Waste disposal is also taken care of by the maintenance department. Salvage, when you have excess of in progress inventory of finished goods that have to be disposed of, those. Insurance administration, janitorial service, wherein they take care of, janitor is a person who takes care of things which are actually kept in the basement area. That's the general meaning. This is very much similar to your storekeeper. Property accounting, where maintenance management can give a real picture on what is there in which place of the organization, of the factories, because they are taking care of every single part of it. Then they have a better understanding. Pollution and noise abatement, all the mandatory standards in order to control the pollution and the noise. Machines work, right? They create a lot of noise. That falls under the purview of maintenance management. Any other service which is given to the maintenance management by the plant management or anyone else, those also fall under the thing. So in this concept, you don't need to know go in depth into the meaning. You just need to know what are the functions. So they might ask, what are the secondary functions? List out a few secondary functions. You list 2 or 3 of them. That's it. All right. I hope it is very clear. If the objectives and importance is confusing, let me know. Some of you might not get the example right, so you can always ask me. Is it clear to you? Yes. Next class, we'll move on with types and material scheduling, equipment reliability. Many of them might go over the head, but you have to find a way in which you can understand. If you can't find it, let me know. We'll make it a bit more simple. All right. Thank you.